miles. Yeah, 10-4. I've got a feeling everybody's going to get that way. Get down the end of this thing. A little bit of rain's close, and for me, it's fairly dark.
Who's he talking about? Oh, Harrison Burton and Nemechek there in the 54.
Two Toyotas. I'm not sure he loves having two Toyotas on his rear bumper. So one interesting thing, though, what's his spotter say? Even for me, it's starting to get a little dark. We're up here in the booth looking across the infield. It's a little hazy. Got a little campfire smoke here at Talladega. Sun's starting to set. So, you know, it's not as clear as it is on television.
Brandon Jones, the other guy on the front row, he also had a bad race last weekend. A win would move him to the next round of the playoffs.
Back under green. 20 laps to go. The cars head down into turn one. The inside line locked up. Jones is clear. Allgaier is clear. Jeff Burton all by himself in that outside line. His teammate, Haley, to the bottom. That's the first time we've seen the colleague cars sort of not working together as you typically do. Jeff looking for some help off the nose of this 20 car of Harrison Burton.
How about Brandon Brown in that kind of pink haloed car, black with a pink roof, as we see the cars go through the speedy dry. I think that's all that is, that smoke and speedy dry. Brandon Brown in the 5th position. Made the playoffs.
Oh, we got a car in the wall in the back there. Looks like the 0.
Might get to pit road. This race might stay green.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
He does. He went to pit road. The race will stay green.
Jeffrey into his pit stall with a lot of damage to the right side of that car. You watch the battle on the racetrack. A lot of cars out there with damage, parts flying. You have to imagine we could see possible debris cautions that could extend this race. Here's the accident. Jeffrey Earnhardt just gets out of control. Loses control of the car somehow. Little flat left rear tire. Blew a left rear tire there in the 0 car.
Ooh, these front 7 are getting organized. 19 to go. So let's just take our time here, stretch our legs.
Here's the battle right here to be the first car leading this line. Will it be the 31, Jordan Anderson, or will it be Harrison Burton? The top lane, a lot of good cars in it.
And I mentioned Brandon Brown, another car, Jade Buford, right behind Brandon Brown in that single file lane. So a couple players at the front we don't normally see at the front of some of these races. They're going to try to get themselves a Talladega win.
Riley Herbst, after repairing that left rear quarter panel, working his way around the outside of Sieg.
This inside lane looks like it's really starting to get formed up.
Pretty interesting, too, with the threat of rain. Possibility that this race could end early. That these guys are settling in, organizing to run to the finish.
Well, I think when you look at the guys that are up there, you got Allgaier in 2nd. Well, he's plus 56 in this current situation, right? Hemrick would be plus 42. Haley plus 26. So not that they all don't want to win, but they might say, you know what, this would be a great day for Talladega, Dave. Maybe the 7 of Allgaier just wants to take his points and go home.
He would like to do that, Stephen, after starting on the pole today. I asked him earlier today, you know, what's the plan and everything, and he said, do not leave the front. He's 2nd place now behind Brandon Jones, and he's been up front for the majority of the day. Remember, has never won here, but knows how to do this so well. He's in great position here as laps wind down. Don't leave the front.
Jeff, if you're Brandon Jones, what kind of information are you looking for your spotter leading this race?
Right now, I want to know that it's single file. There's no run on the outside coming. Use that yellow line. Just do not let them get underneath you. If the outside lane starts coming, you see a little momentum from the outside, then he needs to know that. But right now, just block the bottom.
You see Brandon Brown running in 5th place, having a great day there, Kelly.
Yeah, he's been really strong on these super speedway races, 5 top 10s in the last couple of years. I asked him what his secret was, and he said he's not too aggressive in the first 2 stages. He doesn't really care about the stage points. So instead, he hangs back and he studies. He studies the moves that all the other drivers are making ahead of him, and around him. He said, then I know exactly how to race him later in the final stage when it is game time. He's put himself in good position again, Marty, running 5th.
Kelly, 16 to go, coming to 15 to go. And you talk about the spotter for Brandon Jones. Remember, they made a mid-season spotter change on the 19 car. Drew Herring and Brandon Jones are doing their first race together as a driver-spotter combination at a super speedway race right now. And talk about going into the fire. Here they are leading, 15 to go. We'll see how well the communication worked in their 1-hour meeting earlier this week. Did they develop enough to win this race?
Oh, there's the move. Justin Haley went up to try to get the run from the top in front of his teammate, Jeb Burton, and he drugged the 3 cars in front of him to the top, puts Brandon Brown leading the bottom lane.
The outside lane had built a lot of momentum. It looked like they were going to make a big run. Brandon Jones, Allgaier, Hemrick. Oh, Jeb in the back of the 11. That
really
stacks him up behind.
Jeb was in the same position he was when he got to the 02. He was on the left rear of the 11 and almost turned Haley around.
Now that bottom line with Brandon Brown leading is in position to take the lead away from Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones up the racetrack right in front of Justin Allgaier. Justin's going to slow down the 68 of Brandon Brown. Brandon's looking for some help from Jordan Anderson behind him.
Harrison Burton went to the middle. Risky move right there. Will anybody be there to help him? Can he clear the 11 of Haley?
Brandon Brown with a run here. He's going to clear the 7. He's up alongside Brandon Jones in the yellow car. A side draft from Jordan Anderson is going to slow down the 19. Brandon Brown into the lead.
Hemrick to the outside to try to lead the 3rd lane.
13 laps to go, 34 miles for Brandon Brown.
A family-owned team, Brandon Brown with Brandonville Motorsports leading. Him and his father work hard to create the funds. 2 shops, 1 in Virginia, 1 in North Carolina. So many challenges for this 68, but he made the playoffs a year ago, was unable to make them this year, but a win would put all of that behind him.
Brandon Jones got a big run. Tried to get to the side of the 68 to slow him down. He cleared the 68 of Brown. Now here comes that middle lane. Brandon choosing the middle.
Brandon Jones keeps moving off of the bottom. I don't think that he trusts the 68 to be the car that can push him to this win. He's going to move up and block Cindric.
Sorry, there you go. 18's with you pushing here.
He blocks Hemrick. That allows Allgaier through the middle.
And that was a big block right there from Brandon Jones. Hemrick smartly lifted, cutting him some slack.
Brandon and Brandon side by side. Brown on the bottom, Jones up top.
Hemrick continues to get a good push off the front of those 2 Collin cars, but just can't seem to do anything with it. Every time he gets a run, the 19 blocks. Oh, this side draft.
Oh, we got a crash.
Get down a little.
Harrison Burton into the outside wall. The 02 of Moffitt's collected. A handful of other cars. The 54 of Nemechek. You knew it was coming. Running 3 wide, multiple rows. 1 wrong move, 1 false move. 2 guys get together. Harrison tried so desperately to save that car.
No, it didn't look like it'll roll.
Brett Moffitt in the 02 brings a very wounded car to pit road. Oh, man, Riley Herbst, huge damage.
It's imperative on those 3 drivers, Brandon Brown, Brandon Jones, and Justin Allgaier.
Let's take another look right there about the 3rd row back. You see the white 20 in the middle. Looks like he gets a push that kind of gets stacked up. And the push continues. John Hunter pushes the 02 into the 20. They start to move forward. And much like the other accident, it seems like the 20 kind of checks up a little bit. The 02 ends up on his left rear. Just trying to help. No ill attempt, and it turns the 20 left.
So the 20 goes up the track into the left rear of the 18. The 18's kind of coming down to side draft. So two guys doing two different things kind of created that issue. I think Harrison was pretty much going straight, trying to push the 7, and as the 18 comes down to side draft, those two sends the 20 up the racetrack a little bit with a little momentum.
A little contact there with Jeb Burton also.
Just so many things happening there between multiple drivers that created that issue.
It's such a great point. I didn't see the contact with the right front of the 20, but you're absolutely right, Junior. That drives the nose of the 20 down the racetrack.
Yeah, see the 02. He's pushing right here. He makes contact. Right there, gets into the 20.
So the 20 and the 18 are inches apart. That contact just moved the 20 just enough up the racetrack, and the 18's getting aggressive with that side draft on the 7.
Yeah, the 31, little contact in the door, but he got through. Oh, took the bumper cover off the back of the 10. Jeb Burton, that's a required part. They'll have to work on that. And then you see all the other cars. I think that's Josh Williams in the 92, Alex LeBay in the 36. See about Justin Haley's view right here.
Tight inside, just be easy with it. They're wrecking under you. Keep coming. We're good inside.
And here's further back in the pack and how these guys fared trying to get through the wreck.
Josh Berry in the 1 got through. Jay Buford looks like a little bit of shot to the apron, the 66 up.
Jason White.
And that's, we talked about it earlier. It's Talladega. It's so frustrating. You're sitting there doing everything you need to be doing. You have to push. You have to shove. You have to do those things. And, if you want to win the race, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
The pushes just get so much more aggressive later in the race. And down that whole back straightaway, there was a lot of movement and a lot of pushes that were making those cars a little bit more difficult to control, and it just kind of crescendoed into a crash in turn 3.
And of course, this moves this race that much closer to darkness. It's relatively dark out there. Brandon Brown can't see a thing. He's screaming. It's completely dark.
If they got a dark windshield or a dark visor, it's absolutely going to be difficult to see, and you don't want to race with that visor up with all the debris and stuff flying around in the car.
So you see these 3 right here. I think the bigger debate right now is these 3 are trying to claim they were all leading the race. Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, and Brandon Brown are running 3 wide around this racetrack to say, NASCAR, no, I'm leading. Whoa, no, NASCAR, I'm leading. They're all trying to raise their hand because they know how dark it is. And this right here is the thing. So you see the car wrecking. It really comes down to the time of caution. When NASCAR put the yellow out between those 3 cars at the front. If it's just to restart the race, they will use the loop lines. But if this will be the finishing order that will set the finish of the race, they will use a camera. They will set the finishing order of the race by camera, not by loop lines. That's why this is very, very important. NASCAR, I'm sure, looks out the window much like we do. They see the darkness, so we're waiting to hear from NASCAR, the official leader. Marty.
And Steve, NASCAR has put Brandon Brown out front. Jeff Manring, crew chief for Brandon Jones, not very happy with that call. He said, we are going to protest that. There is a NASCAR official in the 19 pit box. They have already filed that protest, but it is getting dark down here. They honestly believe that the 19 was the leader when the caution came out. Now, NASCAR can time code all of this. They can go back to the exact moment the caution came out, and that's why they put the 68 out front.
Let's listen to some radio from the 68 car.
And I do believe it's too dark to see. Yeah, I can barely see into 3, even with binoculars in our bright car. I can't see.
All right, so we asked NASCAR how they determined, and they said with 9 laps to go, they used the loops of the race, the loops around the racetrack. So here they are. So basically, start-finish is right here, and you see how big this track is. I mean, there are loops all the way around it. So basically what NASCAR does is they say last loop passed under green. So it was down here somewhere this end of the racetrack. It was either loop 12 or loop 13, and they go use that electronic timing to determine the current running order of the race. That would tell me they expect to restart this race. Marty.
Well, I can tell you Brandon Jones, who sits in second and stands a lot to gain, says he cannot see down the backstretch. It is so dark. So I'll say our cameras do a good job, Junior, of making it look really light out here. But behind the wheel, it's pretty dark right now. And these drivers are honestly saying, look at the difference those caution lights are making. It really is getting dark here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, but it's coming to 8 laps to go.
Come down for visibility. Everybody's a racer. We race till it's pitch black in order to win.
So that's
Dark, whatever it is.
different opinions out there. We'll race to the finish. We're racers.
Yeah.
Nope, too dark.
What a story this would be for Brandon Brown. I spent some time. I mean, there it is. There's a good view. You see the lights and how much they stand out.
As long as you can see me, I'm good.
Spent some time with Brandon Brown this week. He kind of explained to me his story of where he grew up and how he ended up in late models, and then they jumped right to trucks because that seemed to be the most feasible thing. And then after a partial truck schedule, only 10 races a year, they said, we're going to go Xfinity racing. This is a family-owned team. Him and his father, they have one investor that helps them along. We have seen him have some good runs, but never quite to this level, never leading in the closing laps for Brandon Brown. This would be just a huge, remember, this is the used car salesman, right? He put the video out. Come sponsor my race car. He said that has helped. That has generated some sponsorship for the 68. Now he's trying to take that sponsorship and parlay it into a victory at Talladega.
I do think that NASCAR does have to decide at some point when is it too dark, because we're going to come to 7 to go here, likely get a restart in the next lap or two, and there's a possible chance we'll have another yellow that'll extend this race several more minutes. So it's borderline right now whether it's too dark or not, but in a very short period of time it will be.
If I'm a crew chief right now and we're going to restart this race, I want NASCAR to tell me, are we running to the finish or is this overtime rules? What are we doing here? Because I'm okay that we're going to give all these great race fans that came here to see a finish, we're going to give them a shot at a finish. I'm okay with that. But let me know, because I don't believe we have time for 8 laps. I don't think we have time for 3 or 4 more cautions. Maybe you could make the, hey guys, we're only going to try this once. NASCAR could change those rules, in my opinion, or adjust the rules, not really changing it, to give the and the value who came here today to Talladega.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I do want to make it very clear that it is much darker here in person than it is on these cameras. I don't know at NASCAR, how they make the decision whether it's too dark or not. It's almost impossible. You look at Jeff Burton, you mentioned it earlier, he's got that dark shield, and you could say, well, hey, just pick the shield up, and you can see, well, then all those rocks and gravel, all that's blowing in your eyeball. So it's not just as easy as just saying pick that shield up. And the longer this track takes to clean up, of course, just the darker it gets.
I'm down again.
Yeah, vehicles still on the racetrack cleaning it. Dave.
And as if not to emphasize the darkness, our cameraman Dave Stolen has the bright light on so we can talk to Brett Moffitt. Brett, what'd you see?
I just was pushing aggressive and got in there into turn 3 and trying to make up for our lack track position, and ended up probably packing a little too much air on the 20 there, and he got free and it just went crazy from there. So it was a bummer. We had a really fast freight auctions Camaro. We were up front, and I guess it's kind of ironic that's about the same spot I got turned by the 10, the previous caution. So I don't know. It's a bummer. It's just hard plate racing. It wasn't intentional by any means, but it sucks.
Thanks, Brett. And Riley, we'll get you to walk right in here. Riley Herbst, released from the Infield Care Center as well. First of all, you okay? The car is pretty torn up. And then where are you at now heading to the Roval next week?
I don't know. I think it's a must win. 32. So, man, we executed our plan to a T, got as many stage points as we could, led a lot of laps. And there at the end, before the last caution, we got hit from the back from somebody who didn't use the brake pedal. And that ultimately had us come back down pit road to work on the tail damage. And then that put us in the back. And at that point, I knew we were going to be wrecked just because on top of 3 wide at Talladega, the sun's setting. So everybody wants to go. And I don't know. Yeah, I just called the race 68-1. So, heck, I don't know. Thanks to Monster Energy, Stewart Haas Racing, and now let's see what we got at the Roval.
Does Riley have breaking news there, guys? Is that beneficial?
Due to darkness, we're coming to a yellow and checkered flag. NASCAR has called the race. The 68 of Brandon Brown is going to
too dark. Oh my God! Wow. Just wow.
This is based on the loops.
This is a dream come true. This is a dream come true.
Brandon Brown coming down the front straightaway. About to realize.
Oh, taking the checkered board. Let's go!
You hear the emotion already in his voice. First ever career win. In his 114th start.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys, oh my God.
Thank you, Dad, so much. We did it, Dad. We did it. We did it. We won.